or we determine the problem in practice.
Right.
We're trying to determine the solution.
Right, yeah. And like also too, we need to, my last suggestion was to decrease the number of racially related reports. The other thing too, it's like, well, how many are being reported? One. So I'm like, that data might be skewed because it's not being reported. So therefore, how can we decrease
But
it?
we could just, we could be very specific with like the vocabulary that we're using. So you could always say the amount of reported, the amount of investigated, the amount of, it could be what, I mean, obviously you're always gonna have different variables. We don't know how much it happens.
Right.
You know,
Right. That's why I was kind of like, how does that work?
An easier one, and then especially because Chuck is doing a good job about this. I'm apprehensive about like the details and like, oh, like faculty needs to know, right? And I'm apprehensive about the details or the victim or the possible aggressor or possible victim. Things like that I feel like should be confidential, and making like a vague statement about these things just so teachers could be on the lookout and be aware. I get that. But Chuck does a good job of making sure that he is keeping track of that, especially because it's becoming such a big issue. So we won't necessarily report to Chuck that Cheryl got caught with it, you know, but we'll definitely report, hey, there's this investigation, this is happening during second and fifth period, these words were being used, how are we communicating with the parents? What do we do? Like that, like information is given to him, so he'll like have like this running record, and I can get that from him.
Okay.
So that'll be we'll get that.
Yeah. So yeah, we're just trying to figure out like how we can get the data, so then when we do put a plan in action, then we can see the results of said plan. So yeah. So you think that the reports / investigations, or because if students are not necessarily reporting, then that's going to be a little bit more difficult.
No, that's impossible.
Yeah.
So it's going to be any investigations that are opened having to do with this, that are brought to administration's attention. And then I think like a clear timeline too, like if we do, because what is it going to be, just like what's happened thus far, or like if we do like at the end of the quarter, this is the number that we had.
Right. And then the other thing we kind of talked about too was to increase Black students' sense of safety. But then, you know, we were saying, okay, we would need to do a survey ahead of time. So survey the students, I don't know, create like a Google form. We did have a good turnout for BSU yesterday. I was so excited.
Give me numbers.
It was like 30.
It was like 30, yeah.
Okay, that's unprecedented.
Yeah,
No?
exactly. Because 2 weeks ago we had 4.
Right.
So
I was kind of like making fun of you, right, Miss Hightower, at the back to school night. I'm like, I want to be part of this. I'm like, how many students?
right, and I was like,
I heard.
yeah. So no, we had a really good turnout. So, you know, I don't know, maybe there is a way we can collect that information from them. And not all of the information that, you know, is collected needs to be, you know, numbers and percentages and stuff like that. You know, we can definitely get, you know, their words and their feelings about stuff too. So I feel like the investigations and the survey would be a good starting point, and then we move into the focus group. So do you want to tell them a little bit about?
So I'm starting focus groups on Thursday, and so I talked with Chuck about the fact of taking that one focus group that's culture and community and dividing it, and having Catella community and having Catella culture, or we can name it whatever we want to name it, and having, you know, if Diana Gomez wants to be a part of this, be leads, and she doesn't have to be, or whoever wants to be leads on it, and then have that as a focus group. That way, right, it's people who want to be there are signing up, and it's not I was assigned to this group, because our focus groups are, it's at least top 3. I try to give everybody top 2, but this would definitely be a precedent where once I get those response, everybody who put it as their top would be able to be put in.
Okay. So yeah, that could be something else too, to get, you know, a bigger group working on it as well.
I do worry with the reports, just like now that teachers are aware. I wonder if that would lead to like an increase in reporting.
A bias, yeah.
Sure. Well, but maybe.
But
Could we use that?
maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, because I agree with you. I think just in general with a situation like this, it's
Mhm.
always it's just like what should we do?
Right.
Like we address the situation and then these numbers rise.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. Like every time that I go, to be quite honest with you, like to the KTV, and I'm like a big believer, especially like in our world, like in SPED world, you can't just say something one time. Even
Right.
adults, even like professionals.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like any attendance or technical attendance, I'm like, no, like you have to like strengthen their neurotransmitters. I don't have something in my repertoire unless I've done it and heard it
Yeah.
25 times.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a big believer of that, and I'm like, I need to keep talking about social media. I need to keep talking about the fact that every single time a big deal thing happens, the children are it's so sad, the ones that got in trouble for it, and the victims as well. But it's sad because they really think it's just not a big deal. It's so easy. It's so easy. Everybody does it. And then when things happen that families are involved, cops are involved, it is a huge, huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
They are just crying hysterically, and now it's overwhelmingly big
Yeah, I
deal.
was telling them this group that I work with, I mean, in the course of these days, he targeted 4 different groups out of his mouth like it was nothing.
Very casual.
Very casual. And I'm like, wait a minute, because it was special ed as well, and it was darker skin, and it was white, and it was, gay, LGBT. I'm like, wait a minute, out of your mouth, everything is completely inappropriate, and they're not. Whether they're realizing it or not, it has to change.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It has to be made aware.
And it needs to be very explicit. It needs to be very clear. It needs to be, but like I was saying, when I mentioned these things on KTB, the social media, whatnot, I swear it's like that same day. We'll get like these I'll be at home. It'll be like while we're at home, cops are going to kids' houses. And it'll be like that same day, and they even make comments on like, oh, this idiot said this, and then they'll do exactly what I told them not to do, and
So
then
it's like
some,
an
and up the
explosion.
ante,
Right.
and up the ante where it's like there videos of us like the day of that announcement.
Wow.
So just really coming up with a way where we're doing it in a manner that it needs to be addressed.
But I think the reporting, even if it does go higher right now, I think that's good, because I think not enough has been reported. Like I said, 1 student, 4 groups, that's 4 different reports that would have never been,
Mm-hmm.
so like the reporting might go high, but I think that's okay for
And
right
it's
now.
possible that the reporting could have always been high, it just wasn't being reported.
Yeah.
Good.
Like, I know-
Reported, right.
Like
Yeah.
if a student uses an offensive word in my class, like derogatory to any group, I just ask them to go outside. I address it with them in a conversation. I call home, but I don't document it anywhere
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the documentation.
And
So
then
might be-
I wonder how many teachers just ignore it
Mm-hmm.
because they don't know how to address it,
Mm-hmm.
or how many teachers just say, hey, don't do that.
Knock it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
True.
I'm like, I almost think it would be a really good idea to have, like, this is how you should respond.
Right.
If you hear this, this is how you should respond. If you hear this, this is how you should respond.
That would be the day for the 10-10, right? We would include that.
So on the October 10th, having a workshop.
Okay. All right. Okay, well, the bell rang. I know we're all busy. So next steps. So a survey. So I'll create a survey and I'll share it with you. One, to get in a sense of how the students feel. One, and then I can work with Yuli to get investigation reports or anything like that. Just we have a little bit of data to go from.
I will get those numbers from Chuck.
Okay, cool.
Okay, right? So it'll be up until, when does the quarter end? It ended, right?
It
October
October
1st.
Yeah. It ends October
Close
1st.
the 8th.
Yeah, I thought it was the 8th.
Or is it
Yeah.
the 8th?
Yeah.
Do we want
Why
to
did
do
I
something
just think
like
the
that
first
where
is the
it's like
minimum
very
day, though?
clear? Like this
It
was
is.
the first quarter number.
Always ask the special ed teacher.
That's fine. I think that's fine.
Isn't October 1st
So
the
I will
minimum
wait
day? It's
until
not.
that date, and hopefully it'll be like 0 more.
All right, we'll see.
That's right. I'm sorry, my mind. Because college and career fuzz.
I think that'll be good because then it's
the
like
8th.
if it's
Attention students. Xavier Hurtado, please come to the attendance office. Xavier Hurtado, please come to the attendance office.
I can't have a meeting. No. Is somebody dying? I can't.
it would be good because then during that training that we would have, we would actually have that documentation. Because if this is October 10th and the quarter ends,
Numbers.
yeah, then we would have those numbers to present, and then maybe even a video and lessons or stuff like that. But all right, when are you guys able to meet again, and what works best for you?
Not Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, or Friday of next
Okay.
week. So Wednesday.
I'm out Thursday and Friday of next week.
Okay.
Wednesdays are good days for me.
Monday I'm pulled out.
Well, yeah, Monday I'm not here.
And then Tuesday should be fun.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Oh, no, Tuesday I have
Tuesday,
my
Thursday,
meeting.
Okay.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay, this is not looking good, guys.
Right? I know. I'm like,
Everybody's good for 8
Well,
p.m.
they
My
said
house.
it's okay.
right?
I'm okay for before school.
Before school?
Before
I'm
school
okay
works
for
for
school.
me.
Okay.
Just
What-
not Monday because I have to be.
Okay. So before school.
Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday works for me.
Tuesday before school would be fine.
Tuesday, because we already have something on Wednesday. I'm not gonna be here Monday, so okay, I'm gonna go Tuesday.
Don't we meet Tuesday?
No, Wednesday.
Oh, it's Wednesday? Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
Tuesday, it's Wednesday morning.
Okay. Okay, so I now send out an invitation. Next meeting is gonna be Tuesday before school,
What does before school mean?
like
Specify.
8.
8.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's-
Where am I going?
And then I have a really important meeting at 8:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
All meetings we have.
No,
Okay.
I thought
Is
yours
that
was
our
at-
walk?